What's up? All right. So my homeboy, as I'm headed to the gym that's not at my house because, well, they opened that bitch back up, and I decided to support my community by showing myself in this motherfucker again as soon as possible. But to clarify what I posted with the Alex Jones and the lady doctor who basically says we've all lost our damn minds. This is some BS. It's been some BS since the beginning, and to not admit that it's BS is trying to make BS reality. And to clarify why I put that out there, besides the fact that it's so blatantly obvious, that, oh Lord, look at these kids. Oh wait, them are old folks. Hey, yeah, how you doing? Okay, we got a community golf cart around here that people drive around with. Anyway, so to clarify why I put that up there, because there comes a time when you can see so blatantly evident a truth that is being evaded, that, like my friend said, he said, I watch Alex Jones, and let me tell you something, I don't believe half the shit that Alex Jones puts out. But when, like he said, I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I went, wait a minute, this is no longer conspiracy theory, which I like to entertain but don't believe most of. This is conspiracy fact. When this lady says, I have administered this to my patients, and 100% of them are better, that's something that you can replicate, try over and over again, experiment, and get the same result every time. You're no longer dealing in theory. You are now dealing in 100% fact. So when you have, in science, when you have something that you first try, once it's tried, you try it again, you get the same result. You try it again, you get the same result, and you continue to get the same result. We stop calling that an experiment, and we start calling that science. This is scientific fact. So here's what you have. Now, you have a scientific fact that has been proven, and you have the whole world evading the truth. The world believes a theory, and there's a fact out there that we can theorize about the reasons behind not accepting, understanding the truth. But what you cannot accept is that when this chloroquine shit is given to patients, 100% of them are better. How do you evade that? All right, that's a medical doctor putting her ass on the line and saying, I've done this repeatedly, over and over and over again. And everyone that I've told the same thing gets the same result. And then you have the pharmacies. Furthermore, you have the American Medical Association not giving the truth out there, probably because Trump came out with it and said it. And, you know, all these big ass associations that are socialist in nature are always going to go with the status quo of the jackasses that run them, which are people who honestly are liberal. They hate Trump. They hate Trump because he's a man, and he white, and he knows how to run shit, and he does not apologize for being right. He's like, motherfucker, I'm right. And don't you see it? And by the way, you just asking that question makes you look dumb. Because sometimes when the facts are in front of your face and you ask the question anyway, we call you a dumb shit evading reality. So, if you're going to be the idiot who tries to evade reality, you have to answer a fool on their folly, or they will think they're right. And that's what these people do when they ask Trump the question, like, well, what do you think about that? And Trump goes, that is the dumbest question I've ever heard. How did you get up here? See, you have to answer the idiot like that so that they get embarrassed and they go, I better think my questions through before I ask this guy, because, well, I don't like looking like an idiot. Sometimes there's dumb enough to just keep doing it. But nonetheless, you have now a situation that can be completely fixed. And you have the established powers attempting to not fix it. We call that collusion. Collusion for the detriment of those who you're supposed to serve is an evasion of responsibility and is punishable. By the powers that be. But when the powers that be are the ones promoting the injury of their people, this is what the founders warned us about. So when your government, when it starts to hurt more than it helps, when it promotes lies and continues to evade the truth, it is the job of the people to exercise their freedom of speech. And what happens when the freedom of speech is stopped? When YouTube and Google take down the truth and allow the lies to continue? I was taught my whole life, the Second Amendment is there to protect the First, so that when you find yourself without the ability to speak freely, and if ever those are detained without reason, you are ever taxed without representation, it is your job to exercise your Second Amendment right. For when you lose the First, you lose all rights. I'm not promoting violence. I don't think it's time for that, and if we have revolution, let it be peaceful. Because every violent revolution that has ever happened ends horribly for the people. You can look at France, their revolution. You can look at any and every revolution that has been on a violent, and they did it by violence and not peacefully, like Martin Luther King or Gandhi. Those revolutions work wonderfully. So I would never wish to violently exercise your Second Amendment right. But I do recommend that we demand, as our government demanded that YouTube be regulated by their standards, I recommend we march and deregulate YouTube so it can put all information out there. Again, as it did in the beginning. I recommend that we deregulate the internet because government is evil and freedom is beautiful. For when the internet was truly free and men could exercise a practice of whatever you want, as much as you want, whenever you want, it freed the world like nothing ever before in history, with the exception of when the United States created a nation based on negative rights to the government and freedom of the people. When that happened, it changed the world. And then once it became overregulated, the internet was released. And it once again freed parts of the world that never saw freedom before. And then you regulate it, and here we go again. It is time to deregulate the internet and to limit government powers immediately in the voting booth, by letters, by calls, lest we find ourselves with another king, or worse, all hiding from a lie that can simply be fixed with the truth. For the truth will set you free, but the lies you're believing are holding you in bondage. And I, for one, refuse to live in hiding or on my knees. It is preferable to live as a man on my feet, and if necessary, I will die on my feet before I live afraid or on my knees, because that is not living. That is worse than death. For death is freedom from pain, from suffering, and from the hardships of life. But life can be free of hardships and beautiful, and you can have the freedom to fail or the freedom to succeed, the freedom to benefit from your actions or pay the consequences of your actions, not from a government, but from nature. And to take that opportunity from man is evil. That is why those videos preceding this one are there. Now, let's go back to having fun. Let's talk about anabolics. Peace! Newsarms.com